All right. I'm Ted Snyder. I'm delighted to be joined by Jane Sun, CEO of Trip.com, who is one of my favorite people, a great CEO, and uh, someone with whom we can explore issues around stakeholder management and innovation. Jane, I'm delighted and grateful that you're going to contribute your insights to this new elective on stakeholders. So welcome
Thank you
to
for having me.
welcome to the class.
Thank
So
you.
so maybe just a little bit of background. How long have you been CEO of Trip?
I uh, joined the company as the CFO in 2005 and gradually become a person taking on more responsibility. So the board promoted me to be the COO and the president and the CEO. Afterwards, my CEO position starts on 2016.
So maybe we could start, and I'd like to get your thoughts on how do you manage stakeholders who are in economic relationships to the firm,
Mhm.
and the ones that come to mind, aside from shareholders,
Mhm.
are employees and customers, and then
Mhm.
suppliers and partners. So
Mhm. Yes, so our principle is that customer first, partner second, and Trip.com the third. And I would like to use COVID as an example, how we adhere to this principle. During COVID, it was very difficult for Trip.com because China was the first country which went into COVID lockdown. And I remember it was during the Chinese New Year when the government told all the families that we should lock down the border to prevent the spread of the disease. And during Chinese New Year, normally customers already paid hotels and airlines because it's a long vacation for them. So immediately we need to make a quick decision. Do we give the money back to our customers, although the airlines and hotels have not returned the money to us yet? And our executive had a very quick meeting. Within 5 minutes, we made a decision. We need to refund the customers, even we don't know if the airlines and hotels will give us the money back. Because during crisis time, it's the time for Trip.com to stand up and protect the best interest of our customer. So we wake up our banks during Chinese New Year. We borrowed about 20 billion RMB to give money back to our customers. Now industry recovers. Our customer remember what we did for them during the very difficult time. So that's why they all trust Trip.com, because they know when something happens, they have peace in mind when they travel with Trip.com. So that's the first stakeholder, customer first. The second one is partner the second. During COVID, we also noticed our small and medium-sized business partners are running out of cash. So we immediately established a partnership fund for 2 billion to help small and medium-sized company with their cash flow. We also work with more than 10 banks to establish a 10 billion loan to help small and medium-sized business to survive the very difficult time. So again, now when industry recovers, all these partners really want to team up with us because they know if something happens, Trip.com will do everything we can to support them. So that is what we called partner the second. The third one is Trip.com, the third. So we know during COVID, we have very limited cash flow, but we have employees to feed. So our chairman, James, and I volunteered to our board by taking zero salary until industry recovers. And our VP echoed with us. They took 50% cut until industry recovers. And our employees also echoed with us by working 4 days, take 1 day at home, and work 3 days, take 2 days to stay at home. But in reality, they're working quite a lot. It's their way to say, we're here together to weather the storm. So after COVID, many companies went out of business, but we survived. Not only we survived, we become stronger. And our shareholder benefits from that because whatever doesn't kill us make us stronger. So that's how we really take care of everyone in our ecosystem, which is customer first, partner second, Trip.com the third.
So that's a big ask to make of yourself and your team and the employees. How did they understand this? Were they aware that it was in fact customer first and partner second, and therefore they had internalized this priority that you just explained?
Yes, when our employee join us after they graduate from college, this is the principle we always adhere to. So whenever they have difficulty, we always ask them to always remember customer first. Whenever you have a difficult decision to make, this is your principle. So our young employees are trained to adhere to this principle.
So this is something that you talk about all the time with your current and new employees?
Right, exactly.
How did you communicate the gravity of the crisis? I could imagine some CEOs would try to play it down, others would probably maybe even exaggerate it in order to get buy-in and action from your employees. How did you present this major challenge?
We have to let the employee know the facts, so psychologically they are well prepared for what we are facing. And Trip.com is used to handle this kind of crisis. I remember in 2003 we had the SARS. Many companies went out of business and laid off lots of people, but we sent out an email telling our employee that after SARS, Trip.com will become stronger. And sure enough, after SARS, we were the first company who led the IPO on NASDAQ. And in 2009 and 2009, during the financial crisis, again, lots of people went into financial difficulty, but we took advantage of the turbulent market and made lots of investment in the global places. And this time is even more difficult because it's 3 years in a row. So we told our employee, this is a very challenging time, but we believe if we work together as one team, we'll be able to weather the storm. So employees are very much confident that if we focus on what we can do, we'll be able to walk out the desert together.
So you mentioned the decision to refund even before other refunds were made available to your customers, and that actually I know it. I've talked to people who received your refunds, and it was such a striking event and outcome that Trip stepped up. Trip.com, put customers first. How did you communicate that back to your employees so that they understood the effort to build that relationship capital and build that trust and have customers first?
Yeah, I think we need to lead by example. During a challenging time, it is the best to show our employee how we really put customer first. So when we have this crisis, one way to do it is face on and be very brave and give the refund to the customers before we get money back from hotels and airlines. Another way is like some other companies, they just delayed until the last minute. We took the first option because we believe big companies need to take more responsibility, making sure the customers are very well taken care of, particularly during the crisis mode.
So, and let me ask you about whether the partners also understand this priority that you give to customers. Those customers, then partners, then Trip.com.
Mm. Yes, it took us to do some explanation. I remember when China was hit by COVID, a lot of other countries didn't know what's going on. So I went to the CEOs in the major hotels, airlines, and give them an update, firsthand experience, and tell them this is what's going on. As an industry, we really need to come together to protect our shared customers. And they were very supportive. And some of them told me that you're fighting the battle on the first line. We will follow your advice. So I was very appreciative for the support we got from our partners. And we told them when industry recovers, we will bring these customers to you when industry recovers. And sure enough, now the industry recovers. If the customer, receive refund from these hotels, we encourage them to go back to use these hotels first before they consider the other hotels. So I think it's something that is really what goes around comes around.
Well, this really fits with the class. So it's a great example of using the long-term relationship to avoid a potentially bad outcome. So the partners could have said, well, Trip.com is stepping up. Maybe we don't have to. But instead, what you did was set up a situation, am I correct, whereby the partner hotels would want to follow your lead.
Yeah.
And become aligned around preserving the trust with the customers.
Yes, exactly. I think trust is not built during crisis time. Trust is built throughout the year. So the way we work with the customer build us the credibility. And during the crisis time, our partners really are very supportive. For that, I'm grateful.
So Jane, we all experience travel and we go to a hotel and there's so many parts of the experience that are variable. They can be good, they can be bad, they can be extra special and elevate the experience for the customer. Are there things that you don't necessarily require, but you encourage your partners to step up and do something special for your customers? How do you work those relationships?
Yes, we do. For example, we have a principle that if there is something going wrong during the travel, which is very often, as long as it's not caused by the customer, Trip.com will advance the money first to give our customer the compensation or refund. For example, when there is a storm, the plane is delayed, we will automatically push a high-speed railway tickets to the customer. We will immediately tell the driver to pick up our customer in the train station rather than in the airport. We'll tell our hotel, our customer will be late. Please hold the hotel rooms for late check-in. So when you travel with Trip.com, our customer really have peace in mind. And in that kind of situation, before the airlines give us the refund back, we will promise our customer, we will refund the customer regardless what happened, because it's not caused by the customer, it's caused by weather. Either Trip.com or airlines needs to take responsibility to take care of our shared customer. Before we settle in between airlines and Trip.com, Trip.com are willing to take on the responsibility to help our customer so that they are not worried about the money.
And do you and your teams monitor the behavior of hotels and based on feedback, and reward the ones that are putting customer first, doing the extra things that complement your commitment to customers?
Yes, we do. Customers will rank the hotels, and we only allow customers who bought the hotel rooms or who bought the air tickets to put a true review and rank them after they stay or have experience with the hotel, with airlines. So, for example, if the hotels give the customers a refund if something happens, the review will be very good. And if they write a good review and rank the score is very high, it helps the other customers in the future. So there is a positive closed loop for feedbacks on these hotels.
Let me turn to the fact that you're a rarity, a female CEO, tech company. There aren't many, and you're running the largest company of your type in China and one of the largest in the world. And I know that your commitment to female employees has many different dimensions, but I would like to understand, again, I mean, you've got a relationship with employees. The contractual relationship doesn't require that you do certain things to support your female employees, but you've chosen to do so.
Yes, in China, we have a saying that if you help a boy, you will help an outstanding human being. But if you help a girl, you will help a family, a community, and a nation. So as the very few female CEO who leads the major internet company, I always feel tremendous responsibility to pave the way so that the future generation will be able to have a good career path. So at Trip.com, we do quite a lot to support female leadership. For example, if a female is pregnant, we will offer free taxi to bring them to work and take them home. When her baby is born, we will give 800 as a gift, 3,000 as an education fee. And I noticed some female who gets their PhDs, after they get their degree, they are normally at the age of 27 or 28. And if you ask the doctor, they will classify pregnancies after 35 as high-risk pregnancy. So we are only giving female employees 7 to 8 years to build a career, build a family, have children, where male employees have much longer period to build their career. So we thought about how we can best support female employees. And we come up with a policy that if our female employees want to use high technology to have their eggs frozen, we will pay for it. And we're the first company in the high-tech industry who have this policy, which is very well welcomed by female employees. And this year, we have another policy to encourage our employees to have more children, because China is going through a very low birth rate during the one-child policy. So if our employee give birth to their children after July 1st of 2023, we will give their baby 10,000 RMB per year on the baby's birthday as a birthday gift for 5 years. And we commit 1 billion to do that. So as a result, more than 50% of the workforce are female. More than 40% of the middle managers are women. And more than 1/3 of the executives are women. And I'm very proud of what we have achieved. And I think we still can do better. So we are on the way to achieve more.
Well, what you have achieved is striking. And the times I've been able to visit Trip.com in Shanghai, it's obvious that your efforts are transforming the workforce. I'm curious, Jane, how do male employees view this effort to provide such wonderful support for women? Do they internalize that as a positive? Are they aware of all these programs? How do they react?
Yeah, male employees also are very positive. The last birthday gift for 10,000 is not only applicable to women employees, it's applicable for male employees as well, because we need to encourage both male and female employees to have a healthy birth rate. So yeah, both of our male employees and female employees are very positive about our progressive policy.
And this may sound like a strange question, but do your customers actually become aware of these programs or appreciate the fact that you've made this commitment to women, that there are more women in the senior ranks at Trip.com than other high-tech internet companies? Or is this something that the customer is largely unaware of?
Some of our customers know because once we announce this policy, all the newspapers all have very positive view on this, and lots of young employees want to join us, and it's reflected in their working attitude because we are in the service industry. If you have positive, optimistic workforce, customers can feel it. So our employee and workforce having very positive energy when they serve our customers.
Let me ask you about shareholders. I'll just make a couple observations. You can disagree with me, but some shareholders and owners might not appreciate the effort that you've made to build trust with your customers, to put them first, because that's costly. And they may not necessarily appreciate the effort you've made to support women. But I think one could also expect that those efforts would pay off in the long run. And that the relationship capital that you built with customers, that trust, the loyalty and commitment of your workforce, that will be consistent with and actually lead to strong financial results. Is that the way that the board and your owners understand your strategy as CEO?
Yes, I think the majority of our shareholders are very long-term. They believe that customer is the key to their success of the business. If you have a committed, loyal customers, your customer acquisition costs significantly will decrease. So rather than running advertisement to acquire new customers all the time, whoever you are serving, if you give them the best support, these customers will trust you. So in the long run, it's a very positive investment if you take good care of your customer. The second one is partners. The partners, if they commit to give you the best inventory, the best supporting system during very difficult time, your customer will be happy. So again, helping our ecosystem, helping our partners in the ecosystem will go a long way. The third one is employees. Without employees, without high caliber leadership in our employees, there won't be a successful business. So this is a golden triangle. Every factor will be very important. So shareholder just will enjoy the result. If you have very loyal customer, if you very supportive partners, if you have hardworking, committed workforce, shareholders' interest will be best taken care of.
What do you do when you get all kinds of pressures from others to do certain things? Because one of the things that I think our initiative has revealed is that a lot of C-suites are bombarded by pressures, and there are, you know, lots of people who want the CEO to say something or react to something. And I refer to these as more distant stakeholders, stakeholders who don't have an economic relationship with the firm, but they care about what the firm is doing because it impacts society. How do you approach these more distant stakeholders?
Yeah, so as a CEO, we always have lots of pressure. For example, a lot of company who wants to compete with us will always wage a price war when they want to enter into the market. So we have our focus on strategy, what we call 5-5-4-4-3. 5 means we are much ahead of the market, that without 10 years, the second player won't be able to catch up with us. 4 means you are ahead of the game, but barrier of entries is a little bit lower, so you need to keep on investing yourself. 3 is you are at the market, and 1 and 2 is below the market. So the 2 5s we assign the highest value to is service and branding. Because once you develop a service and branding like Singapore Airlines, it's very difficult for the second player to compete against you. Because if you look at Singapore Airlines, their price normally is more expensive than the other airlines, yet their plane is always fully loaded because their service is so good and the branding is strong. The 2 other items we value at 4 is product and technology. Every year, we invest hugely to innovate our product and technology. However, no matter how good your product is, once it's released, the other players will copy you. So you have to continuously invest in product and technology to stay ahead. But the barrier of entries is not as high as service and branding. The third item is at the level 3, which is comparable with the market, which is the price. Although as the largest leader, we will be able to negotiate a very good deal for our customers, but we never brand ourselves as the lowest price leader. Because if you do that, the customer you are attracted to is always going to be very price sensitive. Once the promotion is gone, they will leave you. So we want our price to be at the market. So even though, you know, some other companies come in with price war, we still focus on what we are good at. We try not to compete on the price because we believe in the core competence of our business model. And also, I think as a company, we want to do well and do good. So, you know, the female leadership is something we feel very passionate about. And also the ESG is something we feel very passionate about. When we travel, we advocate a concept of 3R: reduce, reuse, recycle. And we provide green hotels for our customers to select. We also give options so the customers can select newer plane, which is more greener, emit less carbon into the air. We also give options to select electronic vehicle for rental cars. By doing that, I think we are also helping the travel industry to go green.
And then let me go back to the 5-5-4-4-3 and make sure I understand it. I think I do. So there are 5 levels of performance. 5 is the very best, 4 is above, 3 market, at the market, and then below market, 2 and 1. And then you have 5 dimensions on which you compete. And you want to be the best at service and brand.
Correct.
You're not going to be below market on anything.
No.
But price, you're going to be at 3, which is at the market. And then remind me, for 4, it's technology and what else?
And product.
Product. Okay. This is my hypothesis about you, Jane, and I hope you you know me well enough. I don't just flatter people because I want to make people feel happy. You strike me as one of the best communicators of all CEOs whom I've met.
Thank you.
And when I think back on your ability to manage the near-term adjacent stakeholders and the more distant stakeholders, I see that your communication skills and your commitment to repetition are central to your success. So we have the 3 R's. We have the customer first, partner second, employee third, or Trip.com third, and then we have 5-5, 4-4-3, and I think I'm right. I think you're just an amazing communicator, and it aligns everybody. But how do you stay so disciplined with the communication? Because I think it takes a lot of discipline and commitment. You have to believe it. You have to feel it. You have to want to make sure that everybody understands what the firm is committed to.
Yes, young employees very much look up to the leadership team. It is during the critical moment they learn what you teach them by action. So no matter what you tell them, if during critical time you do not live up to these values, employees will not learn. But year in, year out, when there is a difficult situation, I always try to remind myself and our team what do we mean: customer first, partner second, Trip.com the third. So I think leading by action is something that is very important when we coach our young employees.
Are there any circumstances that have come up, maybe post-COVID, where you've had to say to yourself, let's see, how do we apply those overarching principles to a situation?
I think
or maybe it's always pretty clear with that you know what to do.
Yeah, we definitely know what to do. The only risk is that what if you already refunded 20 billion to your customer and your airline friends and hotel friends do not give you the money back, right? What are you going to do? So I think having a very strong balance sheet at that moment also is very important, because the company can weather the storm. We might not make any money or take some hit on the balance sheet, but we'll be able to do that. So that's something I think we also have a very frugal culture. I told our employee, every dollar we make, we need to save it to use it during critical time. If it's an expense, let's cut it. If it's an investment, let's make it. So employees in our company are trained to be very efficient, very frugal, so that during difficult time, we have the strong balance to support initiatives, either to take care of our customer, our partner, or make strategic investment during the very difficult time when the market gives us an opportunity.
That's great. This is so helpful to me, and I know I speak for the students in the class when I express my deep appreciation for your time. This seminar, I think, is going to be great. We're identifying various hypotheses about how successful CEOs manage stakeholders. And my own takeaways from today are Jane Sun has a very clear approach. She communicates it effectively. She leads by example, puts the approach into practice consistently, and the results are that this is a really exciting, long-term oriented enterprise. And for that, I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity, Jane, to talk with you. And I look forward to the class's reaction to your insights. And as always, if we get a question or two that even though I know you pretty well, I can't answer, I'll contact you and see if can get a direct answer from you. Well, I know you're waiting for a red eye out of Shanghai to Singapore. We'll let you get on with your travel plans and be safe. And again, thank you so much, Jane Sun.
Thank you so much for having me. I love to invite you and your students to come to visit us in Shanghai.
That would be great. And I bet you some will take you up on that wonderful offer.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.